So as you guys probably realized, I have a lot of tech, and a lot of tech requires a lot of battery, and I recently stumbled across this amazing piece of kit. So I know power banks aren't exactly the most interesting item, but stick with me because I think you're gonna like this. So this is the Anker Powercore 2100. And it's a very special product, and I'll get onto that in just a minute. But to begin with, it's built really well. It feels solid, comfortable to hold, and it's got a nice matte finish. But it does attract a few too many fingerprints. But more importantly, and probably the thing you're going to notice first, is that considering its capacity, the Powercore is much thinner and lighter than you'd expect. And speaking of its capacity, we've got 20,100 mAh of juice. And to put that into perspective, the iPhone 7 has a battery capacity of just under 2,000 mAh, so in theory at least, you could charge it 10 times. But in practice that works out to more like 8.5, but I'll explain that in just a moment. So there are a lot of good power banks out there, this being one of them by Inori, and it's got pretty much the same capacity as the Powercore. But it gets more complicated because different batteries have different efficiencies. So the one you might find in the Inori has about a 70% efficiency, but the one in the Powercore has closer to 90%. So what that really means is that for the same capacity, you're carrying a battery bank that's shorter, slimmer, and lighter. Don't get me wrong, it's not a miracle solution. Like every battery bank, you need to be aware that they are quite heavy and they do take up a fair bit of space, but at least the Powercore should be able to fit in any reasonably sized pocket. So then we've got the ports, and on the front we've got 2 USB ports and 1 micro USB. Now the micro USB used to charge the battery bank, and the 2 USB ports are its outputs. And these aren't just any ports, because each one is fitted with 2.4 amps, which means that it can charge your phone up to twice as fast as a standard one. On top of that, Anker has installed something called Power IQ onto this thing. And what it is it means it monitors the devices that are connected, finds the maximum amount of amps it can send to them safely, and does so. So whereas with most power amps they've got a fixed capacity, or they might go up in intervals, this will supply the exact most that it can. So the phone will charge not only as fast as possible, but also as safely as possible. Whilst it is great at dishing it out, the Powercore is slightly less good at taking it, because it takes up to 10 hours to fully charge itself. But whilst that might sound really bad, at least in my usage, it's not really a huge deal. I just kind of plug it in at night time, and by the time I wake up it's pretty much done. And just the last thing to bear in mind when you're buying a battery bank is safety. We've been hearing a fair bit in the news recently about batteries blowing up. So with a battery with as high a capacity as this, you can see why it's super important to keep it protected, and Anker has built-in safety features. It's got a surge protector and a short circuit protector, so it shouldn't be exploding in your pocket. So there we go guys, that is the Anker Powercore 2100, and it's just amazing. I hope I didn't bore you witless. I mean, I tried to keep the video as short and sharp, but I know it's a power bank and it drags. Anyway guys, I'm Mrwhosetheboss, and I'm signing out.